What changed your mind on Trump? When I was in prison, I remember having a conversation with my dad, and I told him that he absolutely needed to vote for Trump. Trump is anti-establishment. He's going to drain the swamp. He is the person that we need right now in office. And my dad laughed at me, and he said, Trump is the epitome of everything that is wrong with this nation. He is a billionaire with a golden toilet that is somehow convinced the working class people that he is relatable to them. And we've even found out that that is a lie. The man has been inflating his wealth for decades just so he could get on the Forbes 400 list. Everything he tells us is a lie. But ultimately, I read books. Now, initially, when I read these books, it was not with the intention of becoming educated or switching sides. It was the intention of being well-versed in the debate whenever I had to defend Trump or become a Trump or Republican apologist. And in that process, I read a book by Michelle Alexander called The New Jim Crow, and it forever changed my mind and perspective. And this stat right here absolutely blew my mind. 1 in 3 black males carry a convicted felon label. Yes, you heard that number correctly. 1 in 3 black males carry a convicted felon label. And the Republican response to any stats on crime concerning black people has always been, well, just don't commit crimes. Accept personal accountability for your actions. It's the culture. It's the fatherless homes. But the one thing Republicans will never admit that it is systemic racism. And if systemic racism doesn't exist, then that just means black males are inherently evil with the proclivity to commit crime. And I can't go for that. So I did some research. And once I learned black history and learned that black history is American history, my eyes were open and I saw the truth, and you can never unsee the truth once you see it. Mass incarceration became modern day slavery. Our Constitution currently has slavery still legal in it. The 13th Amendment says the abolishment of slavery except when punishment for a crime. Slave labor was such an integral part of the economy, particularly the Southern economy, that once slavery was abolished, the economy was going to collapse. We had the 1866 Civil Rights Act, which was supposed to ensure that black people could enter into contracts, sue or be sued, own, sell, purchase, lease property. But of course, there were loopholes in which state sovereignty allowed the racism to continue on. And we had convict leasing, black reconstruction, Jim Crow segregation. And people will say, Danny, well, that was so long ago. That's not happening today. But is it? Is it really that long ago? Is it not happening today? What were some attributes of Jim Crow segregation? Black people were disenfranchised. They had poll taxes and literacy exams in order to be able to vote. Although most white people would not give them the education, nor did they have the money to pay. We had black people relegated to living in certain areas, sitting in certain seats on a bus, drinking from certain water fountains. Could not get jobs, could not get education, could not get housing. Well, right now in 2023, what group of people can you still legally do that to? Convicted felons. Now, do you think it's a coincidence that 1 in 3 black males carry a convicted felon label? I think not. Then I became a convicted felon myself, and I saw it firsthand. I got a small glimpse into what black people have been dealing with for centuries for none other than being black. I saw how hard it was for me to get a job, to get housing, to just basically survive and live day to day. And that's when it hit me. I realized that I was voting or supporting a party against my best interest because that party doesn't even want me to vote. Make no mistake about it, the Republican Party of law and order is all about the prison industrial complex. They are the masterminds behind mass incarceration. They are the back the blue crowd because they know it props up the economy. They're the ones criminalizing mental health and substance abuse. They're criminalizing poverty. They're the ones that want to keep barriers to voter suppression and disenfranchising people and keeping people from getting jobs and from education and from housing. They're the ones that support the felon laws that keep all this perpetuated. And when Trump becomes a felon, I hope he experiences some of these barriers. Although he is a wealthy one, it probably won't matter to him as much because if you have wealth in the United States, it really doesn't matter.